this is Kermit the Frog.
Fascinating.
I'm Captain Kirk.
Magic is always there, as long as we keep looking for it.
Engage.
What does God need with a starship?
Thank you, love you. Mwah.
I protest. I am not a merry man.
Places, please, and here we go.
Down at Fraggle Rock.
Welcome, doozers, gorgs, trash heaps, and things. And I didn't pick an alien out of the week, but you can guess which one I'm going to talk about.
I kept waiting for it.
Probably Klingons. Episode 168 of the MuppeTrek Podcast. I'm Jarman.
And I'm Steve, and we have been on a journey across the stars to compare and contrast Jim Henson and Gene Roddenberry's worlds.
And what started as reviews of The Muppet Show and Star Trek the original series has expanded into outer space.
And this week we have Fraggle Rock episode Wembley and the Great Race, and Next Generation episode Sins of the Father.
Oh, but before we do that, Steve, I want to rock.
Well, there are many gems, jewels, and geodes in the world, many of which can be found in Fraggle Rock, and this week's is gypsum. I just like saying it. Well, humans have been using it for thousands of years because it's really easy to carve, crush, and shape into various objects. Ancient civilizations like the Egyptians used gypsum in plaster for their monuments and tombs. The Greeks and Romans used it in sculptures, mortar for building, and decorative wall sconces and covers. In the Middle Ages, it was ground finely down and became really popular as a fertilizer, because it's a really good way of putting minerals back into the soil and improve soil quality. In the 17 to 1800s, builders discovered that heating gypsum created what we commonly know as plaster of Paris. And it is used it's a material that hardens when you mix it with water, and it was used in all sorts of sculpting and building and like everything. It became incredibly important. Fun facts, gypsum is incredibly soft. It's only a 2 on the Mohs hardness scale, which means you can scratch it with your fingernail. Gypsum can naturally form in these like beautiful shapes called desert roses. I looked one up, and they kind of look like roses, kind of.
I'm looking at one now, yeah.
Like a different flower. But that's what happens when they grow in sandy environments, and they come together differently. And gypsum is naturally fire resistant because there's actually water trapped in its crystal structure that when it's heated releases. So if you heat gypsum up, they'll literally steam. And nowadays it's still used in drywall, sheetrock. It's used for making chalk, ceramics. There's some food processing stuff that's made with it. Gypsum is still everywhere in our modern world.
Well, dang.
So that's gypsum, and that rocks.
I want to rock!
That's a good one.
Well, what's happening in Fraggle Rock? What's up, Doc? Doc's on the phone with that damned Schimmelfinny. He's bad-mouthing Sprocket. Sprocket is outraged until Doc reveals that he promised Schimmelfinny that Sprocket was going to win the big dog show. Sprocket does not like this idea. He even avoids his big bath to get ready for the show. Doc said, I'm going to give you to the count of 3, and he starts counting up, but Sprocket refuses to budge. Well, Doc just didn't want Schimmelfinny to make fun of Sprocket, and just as Doc says he's going to call and give up, Sprocket hops in the bath, and Doc decides he doesn't need a dog show to know that Sprocket is the best. What's going down in Fraggle Rock? Red is coaching Wembley for the big race because her tail has been injured. Gobo's getting ready too, but he's busy laughing at Uncle Traveling Matt's postcard. This was the most fastest and the most abrupt Uncle Traveling Matt's postcard. Nothing had even happened yet. Well, the silly creatures line up for what appears to be a Fraggle race, but then a scary bang sends them running off in fear. And one of the silly creatures even has to be comforted from the fright by the other racers. Gobo and Boober sing a song, Friends Till the End, about how competition can't come between them and won't get in the way of their friendship. They go to the great Fraggle Hall, where the world's oldest Fraggle welcomes everybody to the Rock Beetle race, where they're going to roll boulders with their nose as they race. They introduce the competitors, but the crowd is pretty sure Gobo is going to win. Boober even makes a bet against Gobo. Anyone but Gobo was what he chanted. The race is on. Wembley wins, and Gobo is miserable and mad at himself. Well, Red goads him into racing Wembley again 1v1 to prove that he lost fair and square, but Wembley can only worry about that Gobo will never forgive him. The new race is on, and Gobo makes the makes the opposite wager with the Fraggle before, hoping to give him his radishes back because he feels bad because that Fraggle got smashed by the Gorgs trying to get radishes to pay Boober.
It's a loan shark now.
The race is on again. They take off in this crazy race where they run backwards and forwards and then backwards and forwards as the rest of the Fraggle crowd sings. It's really hard to explain. They're told to turn around and then back again. Gobo wins, but Red realizes that Wembley let him win. Well, Red confronts Wembley and forces Wembley to admit that he lost on purpose. Well, Gobo wants to race one more time. Wembley tries to get out of it by playing sick while Red and Gobo argue until Wembley freaks out and screams at them because he doesn't want to be in the middle. He's not going to race for either of them. He's going to race for himself.
Yeah.
Back to the starting line, Wembley runs his hardest as Gobo tries to talk about things. Wembley, it's going to be fine. Then we get some crazy, foggy, slow motion running marionette Fraggles that was clearly supposed to be modeled after Chariots of Fire, both in the delivery and in the music that they put with it. Wembley wins by a nose, literally. He gets awarded the big ribbon, but he's afraid that him and Gobo's friendship is over. But Gobo apologizes, and Wembley finally feels like the big winner. So, Jarman, what did you think of this week's episode of Fraggle Rock?
I liked it. We also had our first, I think, memorable song in a while because the songs have been kind of lackluster for a long time. And I really liked
Friends Till the End.
Yeah, that was a good one. I liked that one a lot.
Till the end. Yeah.
And they're singing. It was a catchy song. It was a good song. The whole shtick with the oldest Fraggle and his little like herald who is like saying when he was like hype guy next to him was hilarious.
Yeah, and then he hits himself in the face.
He's like, just do me a favor. Yeah, what is it? Put your nose down on the rock. So next time, don't talk over me. And he whacks him on the nose. It's like, that's fantastic. I was going to say this hits really close to home this episode because throughout the years, my many years of playing board games with people and stuff, I eventually realized I liked the night to last longer. So I would always, if I see myself winning too fast at a game that probably I owned or played a million times and they hadn't, I would just start losing on purpose just so that the game would last longer because I want them to have a good time more than I want to win. And so I felt that was kind of like a kindred spirit with Wembley during this episode. Yeah. But also I love the Chariots of Fire musical reference. There were no Gorgs, though they were mentioned. There's no trash heap and no
the
doozers.
Gorgs Garden was mentioned. You're right.
Yeah, but no trash heap, no doozers. Great message. That was very clear what the message was. And I'm glad that Gobo actually saw the error of his ways. And Wembley gets to be a winner. So that's always great because I love a good Wembley getting the best of the day. Yeah. What'd you think of it?
So some things about this really impressed me and some parts were a little bit more lackluster. So what really impressed me is that they found a way out of this being a Red and Gobo thing directly, because we've seen this story before, but it's always been Red and Gobo and their competitive nature. So by Red being out with her tail injury, I think that was the excuse they used. It was nice to see a different character get to play this out. Because we've seen this plot before. So I just thought that was a clever device. You're right. Friends Till the End was best song we've had in 10 episodes. Oh, yeah. I would say. I would agree with that entirely. With the exception of maybe that jazzy number that Marjorie did when she finally showed back up.
Yes, that was good.
That was a good one. And then the end was a mix of what is this and oh, that's cool. The ending race where they're in slow motion and they switch to marionette for a couple shots, these big overhead sweeping shots they don't normally do. And they put fog on the floor. So the movement was really kind of nicely disguised. But that went between really cool and like, God, get out of this shot. This is uncomfortable to watch. So overall, I would say upper to middling episode for me.
Same here.
But the fact that it was just 3 races and nothing really changed made it feel like the plot wasn't actually moving forward.
I felt like it was more entertaining and moved faster than the last several episodes we watched. But Yeah, it wasn't anything monumental. Yeah.
But yeah, some middling high. It probably won't end up top 3, so there's a good chance we'll never talk about this one again.
But a decent episode.
Just, pretty good. Well, what were those very abruptly brought up silly creatures up to? Well, they were having a foot race with a starter pistol, the loud noise. Well, foot races are among the oldest organized athletic competitions in human history. Ancient civilizations like the Egyptians, the Greeks, the Romans held running contests as part of religious festivals and shows of military prowess and public celebrations. The earliest recorded organized foot races date back to the ancient Olympic Games in 776 BC, where they did what were called, it was about 200 meters, and it was just called the stadium. Because it was just them, I think, running around the stadium.
Like NASCAR.
That was like the
foot.
most official race. Yeah, exactly. During the 19th century, organized track and field events became really popular in Europe and in North America, eventually leading to the modern Olympic movement. Humans, as a species, are considered one of the absolute best endurance runners in the animal kingdom because we have the ability to sweat at rates that other animals can't, and our upright posture means that our body can regulate its temperature much more evenly. And the fastest recorded human foot speed in a race was 27 miles per hour, achieved by Usain Bolt during his world record holding sprint.
Dang, it's still him. That's crazy.
Still him.
And no performance enhancing drugs there.
That's right. Just better than everyone.
That's right. And a perfect name for it.
That's right. Bolt. So Jeremy, what did you think was the best Muppeteering moment this week?
The thing you mentioned before about the Marys was cool, but I'm just going to give it to pushing the moss around with their nose, and all the guys, they're all lined up to like shoving moss. There was so much probably going on just to make that shot happen.
Oh my God. Think about how many people were down below.
Yeah, like rolling those things in front of them and moving their nose, and they're going up to say rock beetle every single time. So that was insane. I was like, I'm appreciating the work that probably went into this. What seems like a simple shot is not.
I am going to give it to that weird moment. I was mesmerized. It was like a train wreck you couldn't look away from. The marionette foot race, it was not always successful, but I thought it was very ambitious. And when it looked good, it looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't maintain it with all the movements they tried to do. So probably some big learns from them. It was really cool to see something different we really hadn't seen before, but it wasn't the most successful thing. But I'm still going to give it to weird marionette foot race.
With a limited budget, they do some crazy stuff in this show. Like
they really
insane.
Do. Well, Jarman, what happened on this week's episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation?
Well, a little bit more of a complicated episode here. Sins of the Father.
It was.
So a Klingon commander named Kurn arrives in the Enterprise as acting first officer under the officer exchange program, the same one Riker participated in on a Klingon ship in a previous episode. And Kurn immediately makes himself very unpopular with everyone. He's harsh, he's demanding, imposing, except toward Worf, whom he treats weirdly really well and exaggerated praise upon him. And instead of the stereotypical Klingon aggression he shows everyone else. So Worf eventually notices and snaps, and he tries to fight him, at which point Kurn reveals why he was kind of testing him, because he's Worf's younger brother. Oh my gosh. So Kurn explains that Duras, a powerful member of the Klingon High Council, has accused their long-dead father Moog of having provided the Romulans with the access codes used in the massacre at Kittimer, and that's the attack that killed Worf's parents and basically everyone there on that planet. And as it turns out, these are Kurn's parents too. So as the oldest son of Moog, Worf has the right to challenge this accusation before the High Council. And if he wins, the family's honor will be restored. But if he loses, he dies and the family is dishonored for 7 generations. So no pressure. Worf needs a Chadish, which is a ritual second, or like a partner who can help fight on his behalf. And Worf initially asks Kurn, his little brother, and he accepts. But once they're on Kronos, the Klingon home planet, Duras sends assassins after Kurn almost immediately, and he is gravely wounded but not killed. So Worf then has to find a different Chadish, and he asks Picard to do it next. And Picard initially was like, you want to find someone younger, someone more capable? And he's like, no, I want you to do it. You're my man. So the challenge / court proceedings begin. And I really thought there were going to be like a physical fight for this challenge, but the way they were building it up. But it turns out it was actually like a kind of court hearing. And Picard gets word from the Enterprise, who are kind of researching the Kittimer disaster to find any help they can get for Worf that they can, that there may still be one survivor from the Kittimer massacre who may be able to clear Worf's dad's name. So Picard tracks down this person on Kronos, and it's Kalest, a elderly Klingon woman who was Worf's nurse at Kittimer and one of the few survivors, even though everyone thinks she's dead. And she initially refuses to help, acting like a helpless old woman. She's like, I'm too traumatized by the events on Kittimer. I died a long time ago. But just after speaking to her and trying to leave, Picard is attacked by more of Duras's assassins at her doorstep, at which point Kalest comes out and she kills one of them with a knife thrown to his back. And she's like, I'll come help you out. I'm a tough old bitch. So apparently she was stronger than she let on.
She does stab a guy.
And she was kind of like, I feel like she was just testing Picard to see if he was worth helping. And when Picard presents Kalest as a witness, even though she really doesn't know too much about what really happened at Kittimer, he thinks he can use her as just kind of like, they won't know how much she knows. So just seeing her will scare them into revealing the truth. And Chancellor Kempek, the guy who's running this whole thing, he immediately calls a recess because he recognizes her and he knows who she is because he had a thing for her back in the day. And apparently she spurned his advances because he was too fat. Once in private, though, he tells the full story now that they have to force his hand. So apparently the council already knows that the real traitor was actually Duras's father, not Worf's. And they've known this for years. But Duras's family is too powerful, and exposing that truth would trigger a civil war in the Klingon Empire. So Moog was a convenient scapegoat because nobody expected Worf to challenge it since he was in Starfleet now, and they didn't think he would care, and they didn't know that he still had a living brother. So now that he's challenged it, the council still intends to condemn him anyway because it's the easiest option. Initially, Picard steps up. He's like, no way am I allowing you to condemn Worf. He's my commander. But Worf steps up and he says that he'll do it for the safety of the Klingon Empire because he's a good Klingon at heart. But instead of dying, Worf has a third option. He can accept discommendation, because apparently where he just publicly takes the shame and dishonor instead of being executed. So he'll admit his father's guilt in an open council, which everyone present knows is a lie that he's presenting this to. But also in exchange for that, he'll get Kern's identity stays a secret, that no one will know that he's his brother, and Kern gets to live on with his honor intact. But before he agrees, Worf stops Duras on his way out of the room and slaps him in the face, which is fantastic. And in the Great Hall, the entire Klingon High Council crosses their wrists and turns their backs on Worf. And then Worf and Picard walk out, and only 4 people in the room know the truth of what actually happened. So that's how we leave it. Kern is safe. Worf is dishonored for the time being. And that's the end of the episode. So, Steve, what do you think of this episode?
So you're right. A lot happened. Like, this took some strange turns. And for me, I was a little bit disappointed. So because I was thinking about the inverse of this episode they actually made reference to, which is when Riker went and did his exchange program. And it was about him learning about the Klingons and adjusting and learning how to earn their respect and then maneuvering through a social situation effectively, where he had to give the cap. And I was like, oh, now the Klingon's going to come here and we're going to get to see this. And that's the story they started.
Yep.
With him being hard towards the crew. And I was like, oh, we're going to get to see how he adjusts. And like, this is going to be, that'll be good. And then he's like, I'm your brother. You got to come with me to
fake out
spaceport. And I went, wait. Hold on. What happened to the episode we were having? Hold on. So in that way I was like disappointed, but it was because I was really into this opening premise that they effectively abandoned. It was good to see Worf get some backstory fill. Like, we knew that he had been with adopted parents. Like, there's some aspects of this we knew, but it was good to get more backstory. The brother that he never knew, it was a nice touch. I agree. I thought, so Vulcan court, they fight each other. Klingon court, they just have arguments. I don't understand Star Trek.
It's a good subversion. They did it on purpose. Like, you're expecting them to be all violent, but they actually can be kind of civilized.
Time. So that was it was funny. And if anything, it just made it like less interesting. I was like, God, we left a great episode premise to go to a procedural.
I love me some procedurals.
Okay, sure. That being said, it's a good Worf episode, good ending, well thought out. It was very much the Star Trek way of handling it, like finding the better way.
Mm-hmm.
Worf sort of defining his Klingon hood and then basically agreeing to leave it behind effectively.
For the good of the Klingon Empire.
Yeah, it was also like an interesting thing. So I think, this was pretty good. This, I guess, could feasibly be a top 3 kind of contender.
All right. I put in my notes that this is kind of the kickoff of where you're going to see a lot of Klingon stuff from now on in Star Trek, pretty much. So you really begin to go one of 2 paths, that you become obsessed with it and you're like, this is awesome. Give me more Klingons. Or you become really annoyed with it really quick. And I became the second camp where I was like, enough Klingon stuff. But now I'm watching it again. I'm like, okay, I'm enjoying it a little bit more the second time through, seeing all of this, because before I'm just like, no, I'm tired of Klingons and dishonor and honor and everything. But Tony Todd, as a guest actor, he's in several different Star Trek, I think, iterations, at least 2 different characters. He's fantastic in everything he does. Mr. Candyman himself.
Candyman can.
Yeah. And the other guest actors I thought were really good. Duras was the great sniveling Klingon challenger. The old lady Klingon was great. And the gruff council member guy was really good too. The Chancellor. Really big dude. And we get to see Picard being fearless badass, which is really cool. I was just kind of, the thing that really got me was that you're telling me this whole time there was an option where he didn't have to die. He could just like have them all turn their backs on him and it'd be the same as if he died, but he'll get to live. I'm like, why didn't they just do that earlier? But I guess as a Klingon, it's better to die than to live with dishonor, I guess. I don't know. I thought it was strange that like, oh, you could just walk.
That's probably actually true.
Yeah.
The idea that a true Klingon would choose death
over living with dishonor, I guess.
Over dishonor.
Yeah. It was weird. I was like, you could have just walked away all this time and now you're suddenly bringing that up. But anyways, I think a solid upper middle for me. Doesn't reach the top just because I still have a grudge against Klingons, but maybe I'm going to grow out of it. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, maybe it's because I don't have a grudge against Klingons yet.
That's true. You're more unbiased right now than I am, so that's good.
True. Like virgin snow.
Like a virgin Klingon. All right, some Trek facts. In an interview, Michael Dorn revealed that the events of this episode altered his perception of Worf and influenced how he played the part from then on. He said, there was a lot more involved in it than the writers realized, things that have to do with Klingon loyalty and honor. They didn't give it its due. You look at Worf in a different light, and I've played him in different light ever since that episode. This is not something they have to come up with. I'm doing this on my own. Hey, it's their fault. They wrote it, so now I'm going to carry on with it. So kind of this episode kind of, like you said, fleshed him out, so now he was able to play the character more appropriately from then on. The episode marks the first appearance of the Klingon homeworld Kronos, which is not spelled like Kronos, in the Star Trek franchise. However, it would not be named. It wasn't named in this episode. It's not named until the movie Star Trek 6 came out, The Undiscovered Country, I think that year or later the next year, 1991. Previous guest star Klingons had referred to a place called Kling at the time, implying,
that's true.
Yeah, that it was the name of their home planet. But since it was never specified that it was their home planet, new fan theories and like headcanon is that it's like a major city on the planet of Kronos called Kling. But yeah, that was what they called it before. This is the first. Convenient. Yeah, this is the first Klingon story written by Ronald D. Moore, the creator of Battlestar Galactica and the producer of Outlander now. He would go on to be Star Trek's resident Klingon expert, penning most Klingon-related scripts for TNG and Deep Space Nine. And he basically...
he must have worked a lot, according to what you just said.
Oh, yeah. He did a ton of episodes and lots in Deep Space Nine, and that's what kind of got him so much time on air that he got Battlestar Galactica, and now he's done tons of series since then. Charles Cooper, who played Chancellor Kempek, the big guy, also played General Cord in Star Trek V, The Final Frontier. But because Star Trek V was so derided by fans and critics, it is virtually ignored in Star Trek canon, so no mention is ever made as to whether the characters are related in any way, but they probably aren't. Because also, Michael Dorn plays somebody in either Star Trek V or Star Trek VI, I can't remember which one, He plays his grandfather, apparently. It's something.
It's the one where Kirk and Spock go to the prison planet.
That might be 6. Yeah. It's maybe not
Is
too
it?
long.
I thought 6 was the guy looking for God. Was that 5?
Yeah, I don't remember.
I stopped caring after Whales.
I always get 5 and 6 confused. But anyways, this is listed as one of the 10 essential episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation in the reference book Star Trek 101. So you're not wrong putting it up there pretty high, but it's probably because it just kind of kicks off Klingonness from here on out. Klingongitude. But Steve, what are our Trek connections this time around?
Oh boy, do they exist. Well, there's only one actually. It was tough. This is a tough one. And even this is tangential but nice. So Kern, of course, played by character actor Candyman himself, Tony Todd, did a Letterboxd interview not long ago. And in this interview, Todd was asked about his formative, like the things that shaped him growing up. And he specifically named the Muppets as a massive influence, particularly appreciating that the comedy and resilience displayed by the characters in the movie Muppet Take Manhattan really got him. He stated, "They're funny, they're flawed, the layers of comedy. I think for a kid who knew he wanted to be an actor, that was just great advice."
Wow, I never would have thought Tony Todd was inspired by the Muppets.
Tony Todd credits the Muppets.
That's pretty awesome.
His artistic intent. So it was not the best connection, but it was nice.
Which is weird because the episodes are so similar. Similar.
Both feature power dynamic shifting, Wembley becoming the big winner, and Kern ruling over the crew with an iron fist.
Oh, yes. Both episodes have somewhat ritualistic silliness in that they take completely seriously.
Yes.
The Klingons all cross their arms and turn their backs on Worf, which looks very silly, but they're taking it seriously. And the Fraggles all move giant moss balls with their nose and shout, "Rock Beetle!"
That's you're right, almost the same thing. Both feature someone worrying that someone else doesn't like them. Wembley worrying about him and Gobo's friendship being over, and Wesley worrying that Kern doesn't like him.
Oh yeah, I skipped that whole part of the important part of the episode.
That's because once again they abandoned that plot.
They did. It just disappeared. Both have someone issuing a challenge that pulls in an unsuspecting person who isn't involved in the dispute into the mess. So walk with me here. Duras accuses Worf's father of being a traitor, which pulls Worf into this challenge mess. And Schimmelfinny challenges Doc about Sprocket being a bad, ugly dog that would never make it in a dog show, which pulls poor Sprocket into getting ready for a dog show he wants no part of. So
that's true.
Same episode.
All right. I mean, I would yeah.
Transporter malfunction.
Oh, yeah.
Transporter malfunction.
That was the time of the episode where we take one character from one episode and switch them back and forth. So what you got for us, Steve?
Trek to Rock this week, I'm going to bring over Riker to replace Red. I think it'd be funny to watch him coaching Wembley on how to treat the crew better. And then Wembley threatening to kill him.
And they have the same color, red uniform, red. It's great.
Yeah, see?
Trek to Rock, I bring over Chancellor Kempeck to replace the oldest Fraggle. He would keep crushing his assistant over the head when he'd interrupt him, but he'd probably kill him by accident.
Yeah, just Klingon rage at this guy. That would be great. I totally agree. I changed mine to that. Rock to Trek, I'm going to bring over the overhead marionette setup and replace the Kern murder ambush, which they shot from that tall angle as well. I just had this moment, I was like, wait, we saw this weird overhead sweeping shot in both episodes. So the camera cuts up and all of a sudden all the Klingons are marionettes in a wide high shot running at each other and stabbing each other.
I'd watch the hell out of that.
And there's fog on the ground for some reason.
Always fog. Rock to Trek, I bring over Red to replace Picard. I think she'd make a fearsome Chadish for Worf, just like she made a great coach for Wembley. So I think she'd be a great Chadish.
Chadish.
So that
sounds like radish.
Radish. That brings us to the end of episode 168 of the MuppeTrek Podcast.
Join us next time for Fraggle Rock episode Doozer Is as Doozer Does.
And Star Trek The Next Generation episode Allegiance.
So, from the lovers, the dreamers, and us.
Live long and prosper, everyone! Thanks for listening to the MuppeTrek Podcast. Be sure to follow us on social media on Facebook and Twitter.
Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
This podcast has been brought to you by A Play on Nerds.